Tour Junkies.
What's going on, golf addicts? Wake up, Pat. It's the DFS show for the American Express 2022. I'm your host, DB. I got COVID Pat with me. We're ready to rock and roll. We just finished the betting show. Pat, we didn't even talk about this in betting show. My podcast use tonight is tequila. And I got to admit, I'm starting, my face is kind of feeling numb at the moment. So I might, these people that are typically watching the DFS show first, now they're getting to see what late night TJ starts to look like after a few. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You feeling good?
I mean, I feel okay, I mean, like you mentioned, I'm dealing with a little COVID,
Yeah.
little Omicron, some
little
Omicron. And but I got my beer.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably should be drinking tequila. Maybe that helps.
Oh yeah, I hear that.
Better than the beer. But I'm powering through it, DB. You had it last summer and you powered through it for a show. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm here to give the good picks. You know what? I'm wearing this national championship hat for the University of Georgia.
Go Dogs.
So I got this souvenir, and then I also got the COVID souvenir.
Yeah.
So
people in the chat are saying you look lethargic and maybe a little swollen. Are you okay?
I probably am swollen. A lot of sodium, a lot of
saltines and maybe
a lot of saltines,
some salt water,
chicken noodle soup.
Well, you might want to cut back on the sodium because people say you're looking a little chunky. That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, is that a nice way of saying chunky? Yo, you're looking swollen. Because some people
if they say you look swole, that means you look.
But you didn't say swole.
If you use the whole word, that means
if you add the lin,
you look puffy. You look husky.
Maybe I think it's the hat. I'm gonna take the hat off because it hurts me so hard.
Yeah, when I was a kid, you were husky. You were just husky. Hey, I think we're presented by Fantasy National still, I think. Yeah, we are. Okay, fantasynational.com/TJ, where you need to go to get all the stats, all the stuff, everything you need. If you're betting on golf, you're playing DFS on golf, you making a lot of lineups by hand, then what are you even doing? Let us give you back hours of your life. Go to fantasynational.com/TJ. It's where we've been going for 4 or 5 years now. They've been supporting the Tour Junkies for a long time. Tons of listeners, thousands of listeners over the years have been heading over to fantasynational.com, saving 20% off any membership plan that you choose when you go to fantasynational.com/TJ and tell them the Tour Junkies sent you. You can save 20%, get a weekly plan, get a monthly plan, get a yearly plan. If you want to start off with a week, start off with a month, and then upgrade, guess what? You still get to keep the 20% off if you upgrade. So there you go. All the stats, all the intel that we give you tonight is coming fresh off of Fantasy National. Yeah, Jordan says in the chat, drunk DB and COVID Pat is a perfect Monday night. And you ain't lying. Say less. That's what the kids are saying these days. They're saying, hey, if you say something good, they go, say less. And I don't know I don't know how that goes. I'm almost 40.
I don't even know.
But I just know that if they say that means you did it right. Hey, good job.
I hope you only get 1 week of COVID Pat and tequila DB.
Yeah.
I don't want another week of that.
Multiple weeks of tequila DB ain't going to hurt me. Hey, shout out to our Nut Hut winner, our Listener League winner last week, B. Miller, Brandon Miller, B. Miller 813, scored 650.5 points on the Nut Hut Listener League contest. If you're like, hey, how do I get in that? Well, you got to be a member of the Nut Hut. If you're like, how do I become a member of the Nut Hut? Well, you got to go to tourjunkies.com/Nut Hut, join up, $10 a month, $90 a year. It's our private Discord server where we dish out all the goods. We have the Wednesday night chat that gets real sexual. We have a lot of fun in there. We got a thread for every sport. We got crypto NFT threads in there, people making dollars, making change, making jangling. We got Caddy John in there giving some caddy intel on the side. We post, this is something a lot of people don't know. I do a lot of work on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I go into the media center on PGA Tour and I read all the transcripts of all the interviews of all the players. And I screenshot only what I think is useful information for betting or DFS, and I put it in the Nut Hut under caddy info. And you people should read that stuff. You should read it. It's good stuff. It's good intel. So for $10 a month, $90 a year, that's all you got to do. Just get in there. And then you can play in the Listener League. And if you win the Listener League at the end of the year, you get an all-expenses paid trip to Augusta or Savannah to play golf for a weekend, hang out with me and Pat and kick it. RJ Miller from 2021 is going to be coming to Savannah in just a few weeks, hopefully. RJ, we got to get that scheduled. So hop on it. Pat, that's your job. Do that while you're sitting in the bed doing nothing. What else is going on? Well, we got some content dropping. We have an interview with Kevin Streelman that drops on Thursday. You're going to want to check that out on YouTube and on the podcast channel. I got to be honest. Kevin Streelman may look boring. His name may sound boring. His name's not Xander Schauffele. We got an interview with Xander Schauffele. Even if you didn't even know who that was, if I just said that, you'd be like, dang, that's probably a cool dude. But if I say Kevin Streelman, you probably don't think that. But let me tell you, he's been on the tour 13 years. He's made $27 million on the golf course. He's got a lot of stories. He's got a lot of intel. He was a great interview, a very good dude. You're going to want to check that out. Also, the Abu Dhabi Championship is going down on the DP World Tour circuit, and our boy Mark Hill has you covered for that. Shout out to him for covering our show last week. He did a great job. And then our boy Garrett Simmons, we're calling him the Kid G Money. He's 27. He's single. He's got no responsibilities other than to gamble and to be good at gambling on the Korn Ferry Tour. He was a Korn Ferry Tour caddy for a few years. He knows the courses. He knows the players. He knows the caddies. He's breaking it down for the Bahamas events, which actually start on Sunday for the next couple of weeks. They're going right now. And actually right now, the guy tied for the lead was on the podcast that Garrett dropped just last week. So check out DP World Tour Junkies and Korn Ferry Tour Junkies, wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe to that, or on this YouTube channel. Check that out this week. It's a good week. We had Roger Steele on our show for the betting show. That was fun. He was a guest picker. That was a good time. Pat, we got a new segment I'm gonna roll out here real quick. I'm gonna roll this out, and we need a graphic for this. We'll work on that, but let's one thing at a time. God knows we're just trying to start the stream. You know what I mean? We're just trying to get the stream into the public. So forget the graphic.
Yeah, don't even worry about the graphic.
I want to talk about a grower, not a shower. You know what I mean? We all know we're all familiar. Most of us are all familiar. If you're not, congratulations. But we're all familiar with being a grower, not a shower. And a guy that I think has entered into that category, alarmingly so, this past week, was Michael Thompson. Another guy who, like Kevin Streelman, very obscure to most of the golf world, would have no idea who he is. We know who he is because we talk about these every week. But, he was a guy I was on, okay, in the 6K range. He was $6,900. I talked him up in the Nut Hut. I was on him. Pat on my back. He did a great job. He had a great week. He was one of the ones I got right in the 6K range. He was finished T5th.
Good course fit.
Did you see Michael Thompson? Do we have a picture?
I did.
Michael Thompson. Look at this. Look at Michael Thompson. Now, I actually think that was before this week, because I think this week it even got more full.
It got even.
He grew a beard that was incredible.
He looked like a log person, a tree person,
a tree person.
That's what he looked like. I mean, like, he deals with trees a lot.
And
he cuts them down and he climbs them, and that's like what I mean. He
look at this picture. Look at that picture he posted on Instagram right there. Look at that beard. If
he's not wearing a ping hat and a bluish looking shirt like that, and he walks in with some overalls, do you not think that guy is there to cut down some trees?
Okay, but I challenge you here. Or if you just look at him how he is, do you look at that guy and go, that dude slays, and he's a hipster? He's a hipster because he's got a hipster look going on. The beard, but he went from this clean shaven, like kind of rosy cheeked, pale, accountant looking dude. Look at that. That's what he looked like in September. I did some research. I was tracking his Instagram. In September, that's what he looked like. It's January, and that beard, I don't know if he's taking Nutrafol, which, is a sponsor of the show. I don't know if he's taking performance-enhancing drugs for his beard. I don't know what he's doing, but he grew that beard like in a hurry. He looks like if Dan Bilzerian let himself go a little bit. You know what I mean? Like if Dan Bilzerian was just like, you know what? I've slayed enough high quality. I've slayed enough of that, and I'm just gonna let it go and stop going to the gym. And he gets a little bit of a beer belly. That's what Michael Thompson looks like. Especially in the picture that you just showed of him playing golf, setting up with the flower hat on. I mean, if I'm lying, I'm dying. So grower, not a shower. I mean, but also the game. He played so good last week. T5. Mm-hmm. I mean, he looked in complete control of his golf game, unlike my tongue at the moment. He gained 6.5 strokes on approach, 3 around the greens, almost 3 putting. Are we looking at a new Michael Thompson? Because do you know the last time he gained 6.5 strokes on approach was in July of 2020 at the 3M Open. Before that, you have to go all the way to May of 2014.
Wow.
So
Well,
did Michael Thompson just reinvent himself?
Look, if I did it during COVID.
You did,
I looked totally different.
and you look better. I
Not
mean, people have said
necessarily
it.
this week.
No, no, but I mean, even your wife, right? Your wife
Yeah.
loves it,
No,
doesn't
she
she?
don't.
You
No.
stopped doing the Kirby Smart swoop, and you
Mhm.
started slicking it back. You started growing the beard, and all of a sudden, a new Pat.
Yeah.
People are like, "Dang, is Pat's walking by." They're like, "Oh, is that Dan Bilzerian's slightly more swollen brother?" You know,
Or is it what's that politician everybody hates?
Ted
Looks
Cruz.
like
Everybody
Jeff.
thought you were Ted Cruz.
Yeah, or is it Ted Cruz?
Yeah. Um, I mean, and then I think DraftKings saw the look, and they were like, "Yo, we got to bump this cat up." He went from 6,900 to 7,500
Yeah.
on DraftKings
They
this
need
week.
to put that picture on him.
They need to slap that pit. If I were Michael Thompson's people, if he has people, I would be making a case for that right now. Anyway, props to you, Michael Thompson, grower, not a shower.
Yeah.
You may be under the radar in some ways, but sir, I think you're about to step out into the limelight. And you probably make a mean like Tennessee mule, on the
Mm.
side. You probably
Yeah.
muddle your own fruit in your cocktails at home now that you have that beard. Awesome stuff by Michael Thompson. All right, Pat. We went through the golf courses ad nauseum on the betting preview, so let's keep it simple here. In terms of DFS, what do the people need to know about the golf courses, the format, and your key stats for the week?
Yeah, so we have 3 courses this week. This is the dreaded part of the season, where we've got amateurs in the field, and so there are 3 courses. They're all over the place. You've got 156 players, so a full field event. T65 and ties are going to make the cut, and they're going to make the cut after the 3rd round. So they get at least 3 rounds. They're going to play all 3 courses, and then they will be on the stadium course on Sunday if they make the cut. For stats for me, look, it's a scoring week. You got a lot of par fives. I mean, every single one of these courses has 4 par fives. So par five scoring is key. Strokes gained approach is always key. Opportunities gained, which is a scoring stat on Fantasy National that I like to look at. I am certainly going to look at form, a little bit of course history, not as much as I might normally look at. But again, look, these guys, and putting is something that's interesting this week because they are Bermuda greens. Is Bermuda really tee to green? But we hear they're not necessarily as grainy as Bermuda might be. So I'm just going to look at like putting in general, like good putters in general. I'm not going to like look at certain surfaces. So there you go. Those are the stats for me, and I talked about everything else on the betting show.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, I think if you're playing showdowns, these courses do. I mean, everybody likes to say. I mean, I do think this. If you look at enough transcripts from interviews over the last couple years, you're going to hear players say that the stadium courses are different. The stadium course is more difficult. There's more trouble. It is a Pete Dye design. Does it actually shake out that way in the scoring averages? I don't know. I think it's debatable. But if I
Yeah.
were playing showdown, I might just tend to lean more towards La Quinta and the Nicholas course because I do think there is more trouble that you can get into if you're not playing great
Yeah.
on the stadium course.
Well, and La Quinta is a lot different than those other 2. Those other 2 are
True.
kind of your new style courses. They're a lot of water, not a whole lot of trees. La Quinta is tree lined. It's older style course,
You can go left.
shorter. So
Yeah, but I mean, if like you're playing showdowns, you think, oh, everybody's going to be heavy on La Quinta. I'm going to pivot to Nicholas. I don't think that's a bad idea. Like the guys can still go low. I mean, but hell, Patrick
yeah.
Cantlay shot a 61 on the stadium course last year on Sunday. So
I think where La Quinta has a little bit of a difference is the par fives are just stupid easy for these guys. I mean,
maybe that's the
all the
case.
par fives on all 3 of these courses aren't that difficult, but they're even less difficult on La Quinta.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at a little bit of everything, I guess. Strokes gained off the tee because I mean, bombers can definitely have an advantage here. It's not hard to get greens in regulation, even from the rough at times here. Your more accurate types, it's not so long that they can't get around here either. Strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained approach. I agree. I mean, kind of, I guess, putting in general with this POA Bermuda mix. Caddy John put in some good intel in the Caddy Info channel today on these greens. He's very familiar with this golf course. Almost won on this golf course, caddying for, I believe it was John Merrick. I don't know if I'm getting that right.
I think strategy wise, it's this is one of those weeks to me where, if you're talking about it from a betting standpoint, we talk about how that we've seen long shots here win. Andrew Landry in 2020 at 200-1, Adam Long at 600-1. For DFS purposes, I think you can use that and play guys. You can play the chalky guys and have a lineup with 2 or 3 chalky guys, but then you can also take a lot of flyers with super low ownerships, because this is one of those weeks where I do think you can take a flyer on a guy, maybe a guy you have a little bit of conviction on because he's not good in all the stats, but 2 of the 5 that you like, he checks the box or something like that.
Yeah.
Or he's done, the last few times he's played, he's been great on approach and great putting. Maybe you just take that guy. So I think that you can play this a lot of different ways. For me, I don't mind eating chalk, and then if I'm gonna go real risky with some of my other players and just see what happens. You get 3 rounds anyway, so that's sort of how I'm gonna play it this week.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, I mean, above any other stat, you need guys who can score, who are going to score a bunch of birdies, because winning score average is around 24 under here. The weather looks pretty benign yet again for the 3rd week in a row on golf courses where wind is really the main defense here. You've got the Pro-Am is back. Last year they didn't have the amateurs playing, so with that you're going to have easier pin positions than we had last year for the amateurs, so that they don't kill themselves by the 6th hole. So this is going to be like, you guys need to have these guys need to have the green light on at almost all times, ready to go, fire at pins, make birdies, go. For that reason, me and Pat kind of got into it on the betting show for this. For that reason, I tend to give a little extra bump to the guys who I've seen play at least one of these first 2 events in Hawaii, because to me, it's like, I mean, we see this all the time in the transcripts of interviews for these first few events of the year. Guys say all the time, like, I don't know, like I practiced a little bit. I was playing a little bit at home, but that's different than tournament golf. So we're going to kind of see where the game is at. We're going to kind of shake the rust off. I mean, that is in all kind of interviews over the years, at the Sony, at the Century, even for next week. Like, so I think for a tournament like this, where you got to go low, you got to start, you got to be firing, I tend to give a little more weight to the guys who played in Hawaii. I think, what did I say, 11 or 12 out of the last 16 winners have played in one of the events before, or played in the Sony the week before. So there is a little bit of a trend there. So I like that. But I mean, overall, you need guys who can score. You need guys who are going to go low, aggressive types, because like Pat said, with the guaranteed 3 rounds in DFS, the penalty for a miscut is not near as great. You're not losing 2 rounds. You're losing 1. So, 5 of 6s can cash depending on how it all shakes out. Right. But obviously we want to try to get all 6 through the cut.
Yeah.
All right. So looking at the top of the board, unlike the betting odds, Pat, which we talked about, top of the board, you got John Rahm at 11-3, Patrick Cantlay at 10-9, which, they could probably be priced higher than that. Scheffler at 10-6, Finau at 10-2. Those are the guys in the 10K range. Goes down to Russell Henley at 9K, who got it just really. I mean, I wouldn't say Russell Henley necessarily choked it away last week. I mean, he did not play his best back 9 on the final 9 holes, but Hideki really did just kind of snatch it from him.
Yeah. Plus, you can't say he choked in the playoff either, because he didn't. He bogeyed the hole. He bogeyed the hole, but it didn't even matter. He could have made an easy birdie and still would have lost.
When he saw that 270-yard missile land 3 feet, I mean, how deflating is that? I think I just would have conceded the hole. How electric would that have been? What if
he knew his third shot had to be. He knew his third shot because he was in the bunker. He knew his third shot had to be literally go in.
Yeah.
So he tried to do that and he flew it over, and it just
F it. Anyway, so the question is, I think, we talked about this with a betting show. The implied odds for John Rahm and Patrick Cantlay to win say that are at 23% when you combine the implied odds for Rahm and Cantlay. So I don't know why I said Rahm and Cantlay. So the tequila is starting to hit. I'm just gonna let everybody know.
John Ram.
DK After Dark should be pretty electric tonight too. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, 23% implied odds for those two. I said I was fading both of these guys in the betting markets. No surprise. I tend to fade the favorites in golf.
Mm-hmm.
Love some Patrick Cantlay. Like I said, shot the course record 61 here on Sunday just last year. Big fan of Patrick Cantlay. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go with Tony Finau. I like Tony Finau. He played the Century. Didn't play great. Whatever. He's got a good record here. I think this course sets up nice for him. He just needs to make a few putts. Ball striking's there. And I'm going to go Corey Connors. I was very impressed with how Corey Connors came out the box. He's a guy who we didn't see play the Century. Obviously, he didn't win last year. But, coming out last week, and he just did what Corey Connors does, gains a butt ton of strokes tee to green, and you're just relying on the putter. But it seems that maybe the putter's getting okay. So I'm going Corey Connors, Tony Finau, Patrick Cantlay. I talked about him on the betting show, so I'm not going to get into it right now. But Henley is an interesting case for me. So I'm going to look and see what Henley's projected ownership is. We talked about a little bit how rattled, how affected is he going to be by that loss. I tend to like Henley. If he comes in under the radar and everybody looks at his course record here and goes, "Oh my God, he's terrible," and he's sub 10% or 12%, I will probably have a ton of Russell Henley because he hit the ball so well all day, all week. And I just think he's coming into this year's American Express in very different form than he has the last 4 where he's missed the cut. So he's one that I'm going to keep an eye on. My fade in this range is a guy who we did not talk about on the betting show, but it's Seamus Power. Listen, I like Seamus Power. I do not like 9,500 Seamus Power. He gained 5.2 strokes putting last week only. Just putting, 5.2 strokes. He made everything. He's done that twice in his career on the PGA Tour, and that's in 112 measured events. His irons were at basically field average, and it's also got to be like a near high for his DraftKings price. I don't know that Seamus Power's ever been priced that high. Maybe in an alternate field event after he won in the fall was he that high price. So I got to pay the highest price, and everybody's loving Seamus Power's jock. Everybody's sniffing his jock at the moment, but a massively, outlier week with the putter and a very average week with the irons, I will gladly fade the $9,500 Seamus Power.
Well, then I'll start there because obviously I'm a jock sniffer.
Oh,
so
are
I'm
you?
I'm gonna go with Seamus Power.
Seamus Power,
and it's
jock
not
sniffing
it's never an outlier. It's never an outlier when the guy's actually playing good. You can't say it's an outlier if, oh well, he had one good week. But let's see. His
No,
last
he's had a bunch of good weeks.
T3 last week, T15 before that. He played both events, by the way, in Hawaii. T4th at the RSM Classic.
He's killing it. I get
The
it.
guy has been incredible the last, 6, 7 tournaments. There's a reason he is where he is because he's playing so good. And yes, I think the price looks high, but I don't care. I will play him this week. He's number 1 in the field in par 5.
You and all the other sheep.
Look.
Isn't that what they call him on Twitter? They call him sheep.
Whatever. I don't care. Par 5 scoring, he's number 1 in the field. He is top 15 in birdie or better percentage. We talked about scoring. That is a scoring stat. He's 34th in the field in putting over his last 100 rounds. So it doesn't matter what surface he's on. He's a good putter. It's not an outlier. He's a good putter. And, he's a good ball striker. Everything about his game is good right now. I'll pay the price. I don't care. I'm not scared of 9,500. I'll still pay it. I'm with you, though, on Patrick Cantlay. He was my favorite play here. I love him at 10-9. I liked him going into the Tournament of Champions, even though a lot of people are saying, well, we haven't seen him play in forever. Look, Cantlay is at a new level right now. He's not at John Rahm levels, but he could be. He could be at some point. He hadn't won a major yet, but I think he could do it this year.
Yeah.
I like him a lot at 10-9. I will play him also. And then here's a guy that I mentioned on the betting show that I think is just an interesting conversation, and that's Willie Zalatoris.
Yeah.
The guy's at 9,100. People have lost some love for Willie Z. Willie Z.
They kind of have. It's kind of
Willie Z had a lot of
kind of
love
fizzled.
last year. A lot of love. A lot of people were loving on him. He's blonde haired. He's pretty.
He's not that pretty though,
He's
honestly.
kind of skinny and everything. He's just got like this.
I don't think he's that pretty.
Everybody, I don't know. I'm just go with me here, DB. Just go with me here.
Oh, okay.
But he's not pretty anymore. So, like, if you look at ownership, it's kind of dropped a little bit. People don't seem to be talking about Willie Z. They forget about the fact that, you know what? He's still a magnificent talent. He's 13th in the field in ball striking. He's great off the tee. His putting leaves a little bit to be desired. That's maybe that, people are looking at Willie Z and they're like, his putting is so bad that I can't love him anymore. Well, there's a lot of people we shouldn't love if they're bad putters. But let me just tell you something. I think Willie Z could have a good week this week. I like that price at 9,100. I think his ownership may be as low as we're going to get him in a while. So I'm going to go ahead and be on Willie Z this week.
Okay. Is that it?
My fade's here's my fade. I hate to say this because I know everybody's on him. This is the guy I think everybody's jock sniffing this week, other than Seamus Power. And that is Abraham Answer. No, I'm done with Abraham Answer right now. He's got to show me something.
You think they're going to jock sniff him after the missed cut? Everybody was on him last week.
No, everybody's all about some Answer this week because he does have.
We need to get his caddy on here, Benji Thompson. He's an Augusta boy.
He's got some fantastic course history here, but if you just look at his play lately, his iron play, his the ball strike, everything about him is not very good right now.
Iron play looks better than Seamus Power, I'll tell you that.
Well, I don't care. I'm just giving you over the last several rounds. I'm not talking about just last week or whatever.
No, I'm talking about over the last several rounds. Look at him over the last several rounds. Look at him over the last 6 tournaments. Well, actually, no, maybe it doesn't look better than Seamus.
What are you looking at?
Tequila. Anyway,
what are you looking at? I'm like sitting there. Wait a second.
Hey, you didn't say Matt Wolff. I thought you were gonna say Matt Wolff. Matt Wolff.
I have him on the betting show. I can't.
Well, you can name the same guy if you like him.
I know, but I wanted to. I wanted to go Seamus. I kind of flip flopped a little bit and went Seamus Power over Wolff there, but I do like Matthew Wolff. So
okay. 8K range. I don't like this range. I got to be honest. Not a big fan in DraftKings on the 8K range. You got Cameron Tringale at 8,900, Patrick Reed at 88, Seabass 87, Jay Rose, Ricky Fowler's back, Noren, Siwoo, Ortiz, Vegas, Luke List, and CH3. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be in this range a lot. I love a lot of the low 7 guys. I love some 6K guys. Like you said, it feels like one of those weeks to be aggressive. So I just think from a lineup construction standpoint, you're going to find yourself being heavy in the 9s and 10s and then skipping this range, which obviously gives leverage for you game theory folks. It obviously gives a lot of leverage to, people who roster a lot of these 8K guys. I don't know. Like, let's go down the list. Cameron Tringale is tempting. Okay, I'll put him in the tempting category in this 8K range because of the ball striking, because of his season last year. But like I said in the beginning of the episode, like I just prefer seeing a little bit of action in Hawaii. Okay, we haven't seen that of Cameron Tringale. P. Reed is my fade. Okay, the fade is partially because of the price and the lineup construction. Just falling in the 8K range where he is. What I just mentioned. He's got one top 10 here in 7 attempts, and it was in 2014 when he won. He's also sucking. He's sucking. His irons suck. His driver sucks. His ball striking sucks. He cannot find the middle of the club face. I don't know what's going on, but he sucks. So I'm out. And I am typically a P. Reed guy. If I feel like P. Reed has anything, if I feel like P. Reed's like half mooning, maybe half chubbing, a roll of quarters or something, not full on go, but like just a little bit of something. If I feel like he's got a little bit of that at a good value and people are off of him, I tend to be on him. But I'm not seeing it for P. Reed, so I'm out. Seabez, you're probably going to talk about him. Jay Rose, I still can't get on it. Ricky scares me. Noren, meh. The first one I come to that I might place is probably Siwoo. And I know I'm a Siwoo homer, but he's the defending champ. I hit him here last year at 65-1 or whatever he was. He's aggressive. He's an aggressive player. This is he's a Pete dive specialist, 2 victories on Pete dive dominant courses. And 8,300 seems like a decent value. I talked about him in the betting market too. His number in the betting odds seems like a decent value. He's played both events in Hawaii. Not a lot to write home about in Hawaii, but he's played okay. At least he's played. Carlos Ortiz, I can't ever get right. Jonathan Vegas, I don't know. Then Luke List. So Luke List is the one I feel the best about, which is terrifying. That's terrifying. But I like Luke here. He's got a good record here at this golf course. Ish record. But his recent form is solid. I mean, he's coming off a great fall. Distance is definitely an advantage he can use here. So Luke is the one I like. Siwoo, I like. And Tringali, I put in like the tempting category. Everybody else can suck it.
Well, if you're a stat guy, this is where the only 3 that you could really probably look at would be the bottom 4, or really 3 or 4, right there. You're looking at, other than Charles Howell, actually, you look at List, Vegas, Ortiz, Siwoo Kim. They actually going to check probably more boxes than some of the other ones are, especially List. I mean, he checks a lot of boxes from a par 5 scoring, ball striking, all that kind of stuff. But this is where I do think you can get a little bit crazy. This is where I think you can play Ricky Fowler in DFS. I like him. I don't want to bet him outright or anything like that, but I like Fowler this week. I think Fowler's going to have a good year. I've said this leading up to the season. I'm a fan of Fowler. I think, he's kind of like, I wanted Jordan Spieth for his game to come around when everybody could, the whole narrative before last year. He's never going to, even our Chalk Bomb Ben couldn't stand Jordan Spieth. Never going to have his game turn around. He's never going to be the same. Well,
who's Chalk Bomb Ben? I've never heard of her.
Well, it used to be a friend of ours. Anyway, he's still a friend. Just kidding. We love Chalk Bomb Ben.
R.I.P.
But what happened to Spieth? He came around. I think Ricky Fowler can still come around. So I like him in this range, and I will play him in DFS. Alex Noren's actually my fade. I loved Alex Noren for a long time, and then I can't ever play him. He doesn't do anything for me. Just nothing about Noren looks good. You look at the stats; they look terrible, other than maybe putting. So I'm not going to play Noren. And then the other one that I would probably give you here in this range that I'll play is Christian Bezuidenhout. Seabez, 8,700. I like him this week. He's had a couple top 20s in his last 2 or 3 starts. Good ball striker, good putter. He's top 5 in the field in putting overall. Checks the box in opportunities gained and birdie or better percentage. So I think Seabez makes some sense here at 8,700. I'm kind of like you, though, not a huge fan here, but I will play Ricky Fowler. I'll play Seabez. I'll fade Alex Noren.
All right, before we get to the 8K or 7K range, Pat, we got some friends of Fujikura that are back in action, buddy. Okay, back in it. Fujikura supported Tour Junkies podcast last year. They're back this year, and they're rocking the new Ventus TR, which launched today, the best shaft in golf. If you're like, hey, my shaft feels inferior, well, it probably is if it's not a Fujikura Ventus. Okay, I have the Fujikura Ventus in my driver right now. Right now I have it, and it's great. It's a great shaft. The Ventus TR launched today, #1 driver in wood shaft on tour the last 2 weeks. In fact, at the Century Tournament of Champions, a guy named Cam Smith won it. You know what shaft he had in his driver and his 3-wood? That's right, the Ventus TR in the driver and the 3-wood. It helped him straighten it out a little bit off the tee. I mean, like, praise God. So, listen, if you're going to get fitted for clubs, which you should always get fitted for your club. If you are a 20 handicap, you should still get fit for clubs. If you're a 2 handicap, you should get fit for clubs. You need to make sure before you go that your fitter has Fujikura shafts on hand, and especially the Ventus. All right. So rock with us, rock with Fujikura Ventus. Check it out. Make sure before you get fit that they rock Ventus. All right. 7K range, Pat. Here we are. What are we doing? I don't know. There's a lot of names in here. There's so many names. All the names.
Look at all those names.
God dang
Lord.
it.
That gives me like
whoa.
Look at all those names.
Did Sam fit all the names in that? Look at that. That's amazing, Sam. Look at you. You're just blossoming right before our eyes, producer Sam. You've come so far,
Yeah.
Look at that graphic. That's beautiful. I'm not going to name every name because we would get people would leave us. Martin Laird's there at 7K, but he withdrew, so don't do that. It was a late withdrawal. No worries. No biggie. It starts with Brian Harman. And actually, I'll start there. Brian Harman is my fade.
He's mine
Okay.
too. We'll go ahead and get that
Is
one
he
out of the
really?
way. Yeah, mine
Cockbite, a double cockbite fade.
double fade Brian Harman.
Nickname is Cockbite. If you don't know what we're talking about, look up our Brendan Todd interview. It was fantastic. Harman, most expensive in the range for no freaking reason. He hasn't gained strokes ball striking. You ready for this? Since the U.S. Open. You know when the U.S. Open was?
I believe
June.
that's in June. Yes.
Yeah. 12 events, 12 measured events. You cannot find a positive strokes gained ball striking week for Brian Harman. I don't understand it. Now, does he have a good record here? Yes, he does. But go look at his strokes gain numbers leading into this event in years past as compared to now. Much, much, much different. So 7,900, and this should be a course that does fit Brian Harman. Yes, this should be. He should, but he doesn't seem to be hitting the ball well right now. I can't trust him, and I'm definitely not paying 7,900 for him, especially given all the names. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's hard to pick three, Pat. I don't know what to do here. Let me just see. I mean, I do like Russell Knox. I like Russell Knox. I talked about him in the betting show a little bit. He obviously played really well just last week. He's got a T16, a T37, a T18, and a T29 here in the last 4 years. He likes this golf course. He finished 7th at the Sony. Gained strokes across the board, including the flat stick, which never happens for Russell Knox. I talked about that ad nauseum on the betting show. So Russell Knox is definitely one of my favorites in this range. I could see a lot of people being on him and being a little chalky there, so that could happen. I could see people being drawn to names like Svensson down there at the bottom, the Canadian who just played well. He's actually played here before and done all right. He's interesting. We'll see how it shakes out for him. KH Lee's a guy that I kind of like. Played the last 2 Hawaii events. Nothing to write home about, but he's playing good. He's played aggressive. Michael Thompson, who we just talked about. I mean, he gets a big price increase, but I don't know. Like, is $7,500 Michael Thompson too much? Are we buying the beard hype and being suckers for playing him at 7,500? He finished 5th here last year, finished 5th last week, finished 9th here in 2019. Like, this is another course that you don't have to be a bomber on, and he's not. But he's basically Dan Bilzerian in 10 years after he lets himself go. Why would you not play him? Shit.
Yeah, I'm with you on Michael Thompson. I think you should play him. But look, here's the thing. There's a lot of people here at this range.
I think we said that.
Be
aggressive.
I'm going to play Russell Knox. I'm with you there. I like him. I like KH Lee. At 70.
Yep. At saying all my guys already.
At 7,400. I like him too. I like Kramer Hickok. I mentioned Kramer Hickok last week, actually. I mentioned 2 names in the Nut Hut because I really wasn't in there all that much. I was celebrating a lot and then
I like Kramer Hickok too. Did you say Kramer Hickok?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him.
He played well last week, and I think this is another course that he can play well on. I mean, you look at, he's a guy that's had a few years on tour. You may not recognize the name, but he's played here 3 times, T21 last year, missed the cut in 2020, and then a T40 before that. You look at some of the stats on Kramer Hickok. I mean, they aren't all that bad. Top 50 in the field in ball striking and approach. He's very accurate off the tee, 22nd in the field there. I think Hickok could be a pretty good play here at 7,200. So I like him. Trying to not really name a lot of
Let me ask you this, because I've seen his name in the chat in both the DFS show and the betting show. We just had him on the podcast, dropped last week. If you didn't watch that, you need to. Vincent Whaley, great kid, great interview. One of my favorite interviews. What are we doing with him? He's what's he, 7,100 or something? 70-something hundred?
I think
I'm a little concerned with the ball striking still. Like, because he told us on the show. This is what he told us on the show. I remember it. He told us on the show, good putter, good driver of the ball. He basically said, it's all about my irons. And I don't know.
He has made 5 straight cuts. And I'm just looking at up until Bermuda, where he was top 10 at Bermuda, by the way. Top 15 at the Houston.
He's made 6 straight because the Sanderson Farms he made.
Yeah, top 20 at Sony Open. So,
yeah.
Despite the fact that the stats that may not show him being all that great, the guy's playing well. He's still playing well.
Yeah, I mean, lost strokes off the tee and on approach last week, which
Yeah.
I don't love, but I mean, I get it on their first event coming out. He gained a lot on the putting green. I mean, it was his best week ever on the PGA Tour putting last week. I mean, 5.5 strokes. Actually,
Yeah.
he's done it at the Wyndham. He did it at the Wyndham last year. Sorry, my bad. Second best week ever.
There's a lot of guys in this range, by the way, that I think, which is one of the reasons I think I'm going to be in here, especially this low 7K range,
Yeah,
because I am going to play some studs up there at the top.
yeah.
Aaron Rye is another one at 7,100.
I
Good
like
ball
Rye a
striker,
little bit. Yeah.
strokes gained approach, 21st in the field, top 10 in driving accuracy, top. I mean, the guy is he's good. I like Rye a lot there at 7,100, and then
This Hayden Buckley kid, he's kind of shown himself
yeah,
to be kind of the
all of
big
these down
swinging
here.
dick on the off the Korn Ferry Tour rookie guys. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of come out and said, "Hey, Will Zalatoris, what?" I mean, he's been playing. He's interesting. Taylor Pendrith down there is another one I'm looking at. There's a lot of names down here. I mean, it's just too tempting to construct your lineup with the studs up top and then this low 7K for me. And I
Yeah.
may be a sucker, but I'm just not. I don't know. I'm still gonna do it. I feel like that's
Hmm.
optimal.
Yeah.
You can't play all of them. Like everybody can't play all of them. So there's gonna be some of them in here that won't be super chalky. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. But
Okay.
uh, what else? 6K
Yeah.
range.
Maybe we should do that. You wanna do that?
Davis Riley's in the 6K range. Big fan of him
You
at
like him?
6,800. You look at his last few starts: T20 at the Sony Open, the top 30 at Houston, top 10 at Bermuda. He's been out there. Everybody wanted to talk about Willie Z last year. Davis Riley got several PGA Tour starts. So this year, he's full status, right? So I think Riley
Yeah.
is a very good play this
Yeah,
week.
he's a top caliber kid.
6,800. One of the next studs on tour, I think. I like him. I like Dylan Wu above him at 6,900. Wu is top 20 also, tied with Davis Riley last week at the Sony Open. T51 at the RSM, T46 before that at Bermuda. Wu is another kid that's one of these young guns that I think hasn't had a start here, but still he is a very good player. I like him. And then the last one in the 6K range, so I'm going down. I'm a sucker for this guy, Sam Ryder at
No, God.
6,400.
Will you get off of Sam Wright? Talk about
I need
sniffing the
to
jock.
I need to not
Oh,
play
I'm
Sam
tired of it.
Ryder.
I'm
But
not gonna stand for it much longer, honestly.
I know, but I mean, he's pretty good on approach, checks the box on birdie or better percentage. You look at his history here. He's played it 4 times, made the cut all 4 times.
Oh, great.
6,400.
God, you love Sam Ryder.
$6,400 makes cuts here. Maybe not everywhere, but he makes them here.
He doesn't make a lot of cuts other places.
Maybe his entire career, 90% of his cuts have been made on this in this tournament.
Oh, I like Riley. All right. I like Swafford. I like Straka. I like Hahn. I like Wesley Bryan. Talked about a couple of those guys on the other show. There's some though real low, like Lil John low. Let me get there. Hold on. Let me just give some people a little bit of just a taste of something real quick. I mean, here's a super long shot at 60. What's he at? 6,200. Austin Smotherman, the California kid, loves the West Coast. Hasn't done well on the PGA Tour. Let's just be honest. His best finish is a 40th at the RSM Classic, but he is a ball striker. He hits a lot of fairways, a lot of greens. That's what he did on the Korn Ferry Tour. It's all about the putter. If you're looking for a hot week with the putter, on surfaces that the kid's probably very familiar with, Austin Smotherman could be a $6,200 gem there. But even less than that, I mean, do you remember? Are you guys old enough to remember? Freaking in like 4 months ago in October when Nick Watney kind of went on a run. Like, remember Nick Watney almost won the Sanderson? He was runner up and he made a few cuts. He finished 30th at the Fortinet. And back in the day, Nick Watney's all right. And he's a West Coast guy. He's got plenty of experience here at the Amex. He's $6,100. Again, talking super aggressive. muy aggressivo, but I just think, there's a lot of names. 7K and 6K, there's a lot of I can tell the Nut Hut is gonna be just peppered with I need some help making my decision in the 7K and 6K range. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll narrow it down. We'll see what we got. Hopefully we'll come up with some gems like we did last week with Michael Thompson, Wesley Bryan. And we'll go from there. What do you think? You good?
I'm good. I think I'm good.
God, I'm not good. Why don't we build a joint lineup, Pat? Let's do that for the first time in
Okay. Do I need to
2022.
set a timer?
What? Do we have a timer, producer Sam? Do we have one of those? I don't know. Maybe we don't. We probably don't. We probably don't have one ready yet. Let's see. Let me go to DraftKings. I'll build the lineup. You do the timer. For some reason, DraftKings keeps making me log in every time now, which normally it never does. What is going on? Okay, Pat, you do the timer.
Okay.
I'll do the lineup. All right, so what we're trying to do here, we're trying to build a DraftKings lineup that we both agree on in 2 minutes or less. So we got to agree, and we're thinking GPP lineup here. So this is a GPP. Let's think like a single entry, a 3 max entry, kind of larger tournament, or maybe a mass entry, 150, whatever kind of deal. All right, Pat, you tell me when you're ready.
We have how many? 1 minute?
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
1 minute it would not happen.
Okay.
All right, 2 minutes. You ready?
Yeah.
You tell me when.
Ready, go.
I think we can agree on Patrick Cantlay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to interest you in some Gooch or Connors.
No.
Okay. I don't want to play.
Let's. You don't want to play Willie Z?
Nope. I don't like Willie Z enough.
Wolf?
Yeesh.
Come on, GPP.
All right, let's go Wolf. I'll go Wolf.
Okay.
Luke List.
Gosh.
Russell Knox.
I could go Knox.
Okay.
What does that leave us?
73-33. 3 names left.
Let's go.
Let's go big. I said we keep going big here. Aggressive Pat.
How about
List, Siwoo, Henley.
How about Aaron Rye?
Ugh. We want to do that right now.
Are you want to go up to?
Yeah, I want to go up. Hurry. Henley? Do you like Zalatoris?
Yeah, I like Zalatoris.
I'll go Zalatoris.
Come on, let's be aggressive.
All right, now we got to go down. Now that leaves us 64.50 for 2 guys.
Gosh. Oh crap!
That's where we're way down. Way down. So we got another guy I didn't mention. Hagee is interesting. Smotherman, Nick Watney, they're at 61 and 6,200.
Let's go Smotherman.
Really? You feeling Smotherman?
I'm feeling smothered, scattered, Smotherman, and covered.
All right, that leaves us 6,700 for the last guy. We're definitely going to get some leverage with Smotherman.
17 seconds.
Oh God, Grayson Siggs, Swafford, Straka. I like Straka.
Straka. Boom.
Wesley Bryan?
No, Straka.
Boom. Whew. All right. Lineup is Patrick Cantlay, Matt Wolff, Russell Knox, Will Zalatoris, Austin Smotherman, and Sepp Straka is your 2-minute men lineup. Oh, did we change it? No, we didn't change it to 1 minute. What's Sam?
There's no way we could have gotten that
done in 1 minute. Done in 1 minute. If we did, that was crazy. We were in peak form. All right.
Yeah, we got to ease into that, Sam. Like if that's what we went to, that was like, late in the season, DB and Pat. This is like COVID.
Oh, I think we did. Now I'm thinking about it. I think we did do 1 minute, man.
Yeah, we need to add a minute for COVID Pat though.
Yeah.
And tequila DB.
Shit. We got to do the Tour Junkies After Dark show on DraftKings. That'll be fun. Listen, hey, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. May your screens be green. Oh yeah. There's a comment contest. If you're watching on YouTube, comment. We had Roger Steele on the betting show. He's one of my favorite golf influencers on social media. Comment on the YouTube video. Who is your favorite golf influencer to follow on any social media? Tell me who they are. Tell us who they are. We're going to pick one of you, and one of you is going to win a Trap Golf t-shirt and hat. And if you don't like Trap Golf and you go, I can't really rock that, then we'll send you some Tour Junkie swag. So do that on the YouTube page. Like, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, you can actually leave a review. So leave a review. That helps us out too. We'll be back next week. Pumped about that. Don't forget the Kevin Streelman podcast dropping on Thursday, the DP World Tour show, the Korn Ferry Tour show. We got winners coming from all directions. I think Crazy Marcus might write a women's event blog. The words aren't coming out of my mouth. He's writing something, I think, this week for the girls, for the ladies. So we're just going to give you free picks all week long. Hit it. May your screens be green. See ya.